My name is Vasiliki Papazachariou. I'm born and raised in Greece, and I'm a PhD student at the marine section. My background is pretty diverse. I have started from environmental sciences and worked with viruses in plants. And then I moved to coral microbiome for my master's, and now I'm working on seagrass and microbial communities on seagrass. So, well, it's the only marine plant that exists. And it used to be a terrestrial plant, and then it moved underwater. You can find different species. I work mainly, exclusively with the one here in Denmark, in Danish waters, and it's Zostera marina. Now, why would that be important? Well, to start with, it's a very big ecosystem, and it has a lot of ecosystem services, such as like holding biodiversity, keeps the water clean, and then it helps breaking the waves, so it prevents from coastal erosion. So you get a lot of fish biodiversity. So my two seagrass projects have two different scopes, and let's say that I look at the life circle of the seagrass, starting from alive seagrass meadows to what happens when they die. And I have a specific focus on the microbial communities, and specifically on microbes that fix nitrogen. And one of the projects looks at different sites in different seasons, and I'm looking whether the microbial communities are different, and whether the nitrogen fixers are different, whether they're there, whether they fix nitrogen for the plant. And the other project that I work on is on decomposing seagrass leaves, so whether that's a hotspot for different microbial biofilms and nitrogen fixation and nitrogen fixers specifically. The goal of the project, well, is to contribute to knowledge, I guess, understand better, and in general the microbial perspective from within the interaction with the host is very important, because microbes are considered as health indicators. So by looking at the microbes and the whole microbiome, who is there, and then dive deeper on the functionality of these specific microbes, then we can understand better what's their contribution to the host itself, and then whether that's related to the health of the host. So by understanding better how these whole host microbe interactions work and their contribution, we can preserve better and restore potentially better seagrass meadows. Well, different factors affect seagrass. I mean, environmental are the first ones, but also they suffer a lot from anthropogenic disturbances, and that would be like anchors, that we have like private yachts, and then you just drop your anchor, and by that you just drag everything out, and then it's very difficult to re-establish itself. But then environmentally, it's very much affected from nutrient loads, like runoffs, and then the more nutrients you have, like the more eutrophic the waters are, the more turbid it is, the more difficult it is for the plant to photosynthesize. That affects the health, and it's a bit of a cycle, and that's also why the natural fixing part is very important to look at, because it's one of the important nutrients that we have. So it's interesting to see what's the contribution within the plant itself, and then in addition to what comes as a runoff, what's already in the ocean. So they are a lot affected by that. The more nutrients you have, the more biofilm is established on the leaves, so more difficult for them to photosynthesize. I think the functionality I think it is important to know like who is there for the plant itself. But then in order to understand better what's the interaction between the microbes and the host itself, the plant, we need to dive more into the functionality in the genome of the microbes, and how it contributes and what not. We need to understand better the whole dynamics of the whole plant. You know, it's not just like the leaves, it's not just the roots, it's a whole plant. What happens in the roots affects the leaves, what happens in the leaves affects the roots. So it's a whole circular dynamic by itself. And I think the more pieces of the puzzle we figure out, the better picture we get. And I think that the whole perspective of the microbiology and their contribution to the host is something that is gaining a lot of space now, and seagrasses have been a little bit underlooked compared to corals. So corals have been studied a lot when it comes to microbiome and how we can help them out. So I think if we can push a little bit more on that direction, that would be very interesting to look at. Thank you for watching. Protect seagrass, love sea life. Ciao, ciao.